Hi guys, so I want to talk about how not everything is about race. That was my thumbnail. It was so campy. I loved it back in like 2015 when people would include their thumbnails in the video and they'd be like, guys, let me just not the meme stemming. Everything is about race, but people say not everything is about race, but it still is about race anyway. We all love, no war, we should all be equal. When every race is equal, racism doesn't exist in modern day time. And in fact, it very much does, okay? While we're talking about this topic, I am gonna be cleaning. My light is crap, so you're not really gonna see me like clean. Actually, no, I still think it's shit. It's still gonna be shit. But yeah, lighting is just gonna be trash because my tripod split this up into 4 sections. Okay, we have the bed, so we're gonna start with that. Then we have the drawer, third section, the desks. I call them desks. The back area. Okay, everyone is always saying race doesn't have to matter. Why is everyone always bringing up race? But race is everything. Race is always going to be brought up, as it should be, because to a certain extent you do have to acknowledge who you are, your ethnicity, where you come from. But at the same time, the people who are not talking about race are the people who are talking about race the most. It just feels like a contradiction, because I think this is really important to kind of touch upon. The phrase, "you're pretty for a blank girl." Usually when someone says you're pretty for a blank girl, there's what's being brought up? Racial. So you're saying you don't even have to make it a race issue. You don't even have to make it a race issue. When someone makes a joke and you happen to be of a certain race, they will make a joke with your race in mind. I find it weird because it's like, why are we bringing that up? Oh, right. And I did have the thought of like race in general because I was the only, this was a predominantly white group, but it was like a fleeting moment, and then I didn't really think about it too much again. I remember this guy making a joke about like just something stereotypical about people of color, and then he looked at me. I'm like, why are you looking at me though? Oh, right. That's why I say everything is about race, right? Because he made a joke in a group chat, and he was like, "Can I say the N-word?" Now, why would another white person say to another white person, "Can I say the N-word?" That would never happen. But it's the fact that there were 2 black people, me and another person who was a black man, who you got comfortable enough as a white person to ask that black person, "Can I say the N-word?" It doesn't make sense without bringing race into it, right? But it's not about race. It's not about race. They followed up with, if this was 1776, but it's not about race, right? What happened in 1776? What happened in 1776, guys? If he said if it was 1776 as a follow-up to "Can I say the N-word?" that would, if there was no race involved, he would not even have asked the question. The people who say that race does not matter, or race doesn't exist, or why are we bringing up race, fail to recognize that race is brought up by other people all the time that are not of that race. Like, someone else who's not of that racial identity will make it their business to bring up your racial identity without them even being, maybe they're not even conscious of doing so, actually, and make you uncomfortable. Outside of that, I was taught these stereotypes about black individuals. And then socially, I was taught kind of the ways in which hypothetically some people can be treated differently because of their race, but then everyone says it's not a race issue until everyone makes it a race issue. Say not everything is about race, but actually everything is about race, because that's how it's always been as a society. I remember I was getting like made fun of because I had a group of like guy friends, sort of. I was friends with one of the guys, and then he brought all of his other guy friends, and like I was like 8 or 9, so mind you, like my brain is a lot more smaller. I barely have critical thinking skills, like I'm super young. And so like there's nothing in which in that kind of dynamic that I was conscious of race, really, because I grew up in predominantly white spaces. You kind of do hide your identity because you don't mean to, but I feel like it's so easy to forget that you are of a place of color when you're in predominantly white spaces. And you are of a certain race, when are there going to be opportunities for you to like think about that when you're in predominantly white spaces, right? It's like your own ethnic identity, especially as a black girl. Like growing up, I didn't really get to explore that because who was I going? That is finished. Like, who was I going to explore that with, right? I wasn't the majority. But where I say like why race matters even when people say it doesn't matter is I'll never know fully what his intentions were or like his thought process, but he made it very abundantly clear that he didn't want to be paired up with me. And that's when I had to be like conscious of like, why would he not? Like honestly, it's like, does he think I'm ugly? And I remember him explicitly saying something that really stuck with me as a kid, which was like, I would never like someone like her. Something of that nature. Maybe the wording was a lot more delicate. I doubt it. He was kind of a jerk anyway, but he's like, I would never like someone like her. But it's like, what do you mean someone like me? And it made me evaluate my race, because I'm like, okay, someone like me, what else makes me different from all these other people, except, you know what I mean? Okay, this is really all going to go. I was 9 at this point in time, so like I didn't have a concept of like race, and no one taught me about racial identity in America. I had to learn. In middle school, I got made fun of by my last name, which was my ethnic last name. It was the only part of my identity that really truly externally tied me to my Nigerian heritage. And so it was just very hard for me because, again, it goes to show you that it kind of is about race when it's not, because like the one thing that was different about me, that was like externally different, which was my last name, was somehow the butt of the joke and somehow something that my white peers found funny, a way to try to like bring me down, because really that was the thing that they could make fun of because they thought it was different and they thought it was funny for some reason. And it was something that really just also added to my insecurities about showing my heritage and being different and not fitting the mold. So yeah, everything is about race, and that's why I feel like it's so important to bring that to everyone's attention. But let me know what you guys think about this topic, about when people say not everything's about race, we shouldn't make everything about race. Actually, I feel like that's just crap. I feel like that's BS, and I think that we need to be more aware of these topics and be comfortable with talking about race because it is important.